Peace, peace, soul family. I received a message about 2-3 days ago now that I'm going to share with you at this time. And the message was literally, why have you stopped looking for miracles? I'm just going to wait a moment for a few people to join, and then we'll begin. Welcome, welcome. I just came out of meditation after yesterday, sleeping basically all day, not able to get out of bed, understanding that it was new moon, and during that time, I'm always drawn into deep meditative states. Welcome those who are joining. And so with that said, this is not an organized teaching anything. I'm really going to take some time to tap in to what it is that I have to share with you all. I simply have a title, and that's it. So welcome to all of you that have joined to receive this message. The screen is black because I'm in a blacked out room. It's more important to listen to what I have to say than to see. Peace Poetic Therapy. So I hope that it is my hope that you receive this with your eye wide opened. And this message is not for everyone, but I know that it is for a majority of the soul family. I initially heard this, I think 3 days ago. And I knew that I had to share something, but I believe that I was waiting on context or more information. And then I was hearing it again. And then today during my own private meditation. So as I was doing my own work, I heard it again. And initially I sat and I asked what more, so that I can write some information down. I thought it would be a teaching or maybe a lecture, but I didn't get anything else but the title. So again, the title is, Why Have You Stopped Looking for Miracles? So when I first heard this, I also felt an energy. And the energy I felt, and I'm going to do my best to describe it, is, let me try to give an example of a person. And this is a totally made up person, but this is the best way that I can describe it. Of someone who is on their spiritual path, meaning that they are aware they're a spiritual being and they're doing their best, putting on a good face, but inside, behind that good face, they're feeling a sense of despair, is this really working? I don't see the evidence of it, but I'm going to keep going. And this energy of despair grows. And so, because this individual senses it growing, they're fighting. There's a fight. And this fight is a beautiful fight. And let me explain this. The fight is between your physical conscious self and your spiritual subconscious. And here's the truth. The spiritual self is going to win, but the physical self is fighting for its life. The conscious mind is fighting for its life because it knows it doesn't have a chance because that spirit is activated. And so you feel this in your body. And that feeling causes this energy of, there's a song from the 60s, Tears of a Clown, where you have the clown with the smiling face, but his eyes are like crying. Do you guys know that that image? And so I see many of you like that energetically. I see many of you doing your best, doing the work, scrambling to do the work. But there's a shallowness of it. Because behind the scenes, there's a fight that's going on. I just heard sickness. This is definitely for someone in particular, because I see someone who is sick, very ill, and it is not your fault. And I'm saying that because there's some blame of like, this is my fault that I'm sick or why I'm not better. It's not your fault in that aspect or that way. And the reason for this, and I'm going to tell you the reason, because that sickness is 100% I heard healable. Healable. Is able to be healed. When you go into levels, and I don't want to use the word higher levels because we think up and down. That's how our brain works. Our brain is very polarized. So I'm going to say expansion. Because expansion can happen in any direction. When you are meant to go into those levels, let me make this easier to understand. There are, okay, let me break this down more because I was going to get a little complicated. Think of it like this. Think of it like steps or dimensions. And let's think 3, 4, 5. And let's say you're in step 3 or dimension 3. And there's a step 5 that you need to go to, that your soul is saying, come here, go there. And you're in agreement with that. But in step 4, there's chaos, there's fight, there's energies and entities that can hang out in step 4 that are low vibrational, and they don't want you to get to step 5. And so on your way to step 5, what happens is you get stuck or caught in step 4. I hope this makes sense. And I literally heard ravaged. There's a ravaging that happens to the physical body. And there's certain things that, because you are not in a space of knowing and understanding, you kind of get caught there. And in that caughtment, this is where the sickness is. And I'm seeing this vision that is like, I literally see a being that is reaching and trying, like reaching their hands up and trying, like they're reaching for someone to help them out of this space. And here's the thing. There is no one outside of you that is meant to heal you. No one outside of you can heal you. Listen. So you're reaching for something outside of you when the power is within. And the reason why these entities, etc., can ravage you is because you don't know that yet. You don't fully understand that. This is a sidebar for someone that is listening to this, that is dealing with a sickness. When you get it, when you really get it, that healing is going to happen like that. The vision that I'm seeing is this person that is, they feel stuck. They're trying everything to heal, and they're literally reaching out of that fourth step, right? And the attack is coming to their cells or their selves. And I literally see them withdrawing their hand back to their bodies, and I see like this ball. It's like a white, golden white, like almost like a pale yellow light in their center of their bodies. And I see it like growing. And it grows until it explodes. And all of those things, those entities, all of that, parasites, I heard parasites, all those things, they just explode off. And then they get to the step 5 or dimension 5. And that's all it took. All it took was for them to say, wait, go into themselves and enlighten. I heard enlighten themselves. That's it. So all that time that they spent in that fight, it was just one thing that they had to do. So I don't know who that is for, but that is for someone. Back to the topic. I forgot where I was before that vision came in. But I hope that whoever that was for, that it gave you some clarity. Some clarity. And for you to know that the healing that you're seeking is 100% there. 100% there. I heard you will be healed, but that the word that stood out was the word will. Will is the energy of, when we're talking of zodiac, the energy of Leo. Leo is I do, I will. Leo is the sun. It literally is a solar plexus, that ball that I was seeing, tapping into that energy. If you are someone who understands astrology, I will look into your chart to find where Leo sits or see what's in your 5th house. When you find that space, you will find exactly the energy that you are fighting. And that will give you some knowing on how to fight. But it is your will. It is that will that is going to heal you. Not the prayers, not the rituals, not the nothing. It's the will. And that's going within. Okay. The message again is, why have you stopped looking for miracles? Earlier this year, literally in March, when I spoke about the energy for the coming year, everything that I said was going to happen has happened. Everything. However, people took the message in a shallow way, because we're conditioned to receive things in a shallow way. And what do I mean by that is, I'm going to take what feels good, but I'm really not going to study this. When I teach you, I'm always giving you what I receive as steps, instructions. That's how a teacher teaches. Take notes. And it's not to take notes because it's fun or in the moment. We take notes to study, to revisit, to understand, to break down. And so, one of the things that I said is to expect miracles. said, miracles are going to happen. Expect miracles. And everyone was excited. And the message I received a couple of days ago is that many of you stopped looking for it. If I can impress upon you that your work, your battle, your fight, your everything is on the spiritual realm first. Then you see the physical result. Spiritual, then physical, not the other way around. We're conditioned physical and then spiritual. What do I mean? We're conditioned when we see it, we'll be happy. The happiness is non-physical. Spiritual is anything non-physical. So see it, I'll be happy. Versus I'll be happy, then I'll see it. We have it twisted. And so we were looking for the miracle, the thing, for us to feel good or feel happy. But remember what I taught is to be excited and to be happy first. Then you will see the thing. And so because we have not seen the things, we go to a place of being despondent, or that tears of a clown that I spoke of earlier. I'm smiling. I'm doing the work. Yeah. But your eyes say something different. And I see so many eyes. I see so many eyes of so many of you. In that space. And so I know this is why Spirit prompted me to speak to you all. Let's talk about the word miracle. I'm going to break this down a little bit more because I need you to tap into this. Today's a new moon. If you're going to tap into this at any time this year, it's today. It's over these next 2 weeks. I don't care what type of astrology you study. It's the same energy. I always say spirit first, astrology is a tool. But energetically, it is miracle energy. Energetically. So whether it's Western astrology, and you say the new moon is in Sagittarius, Sagittarius is about abundance. Or whether you study sidereal astrology and you say the new moon is in Scorpio. Scorpio energy is about manifesting. So when I say the energy, the zodiac really doesn't matter. It's just a pathway. Do you understand? The spirit is what is truth. And the truth is to tap into this miracle space that you are in. but you can't when you're being fake. And this is not an attack on anyone, but as I always say, if you're triggered, good, I did my job. If I'm triggering emotion from you, good, I'm doing my job. Let that emotion come up, whether it's whatever it is. I don't even care if it's angry. Let that emotion come up, because then we can face it, we can heal, so that we can ascend. Okay? So no more being a fake spiritual being. What do I mean by that? I always say, I tell my students, if you're mad, say you're mad. If you're sad, frustrated, say that. But don't smile with your mouth and speak words that you don't feel, because it is energetically confusing, not only to you, but to your spirit team. Don't lie and say, oh, all is well, I'm good, when you're not. See, I'm not good. I'm getting better. I'm not good. I need some help. Speak truth. Always speak truth. So let's talk about miracle. The word miracle actually comes from, when it says Latin, miraculum, which actually means an object of wonder. Remember I taught you, I think it was early this year or last year, where I said the English language has taken words from their origin and put them in forms that they switch the forms. To make it, if it's something that was originally a verb, it is now a noun. If it was originally a noun, it is now a verb. And so you speak words, and energetically, it is confusing because it does not match the origin of the word. It is one of the most twisted things and the second most difficult language in the world to understand, because it doesn't make sense literally to the soul. If the soul is knowing all, and it knows that this word means this, but you're using it this way, it is confusing. And so many times when you speak, you are confused without realizing it. But when I tell you that that was a goal, listen. When I tell you that that was a goal, that is a goal. Because in certain parts of the society, the English that you use is not the English that is used. Let me give you an example. In the legal world, there's a different English that is used. In the medical world, there's a different English that is used. It is more to its true base of Latin. If you were in a medical field, I don't know if they do it now, but I know years ago, you had to study Latin. You have to know these words. You don't understand what I'm saying? Go to the drugstore and pick up a bottle of medicine. And if you look at whatever the word is, in parentheses, you're going to see a Latin word. Okay? If you're not in the legal field, pick up a legal dictionary and you're going to see Latin words. But what you speak is literally heavy. And many times when you go to write affirmations, speak affirmations, communicate with spirit, There's a confusion there because Spirit doesn't speak this language. It is heavy, which is why I teach you how to connect, not on this surface level of this language. Let's bring it back. So, miracle is from the Latin word miraculum, which means an object of wonder. So it is physical. It is a noun. When we use it, we don't use it as a noun, right? We don't use it as something physical. We use it as something non-physical. Listen. Oh my gosh. And this is why we don't manifest miracles. There's a confusion in the very language. When we think of miracle, we think of something magical, mystical, something impossible happening. We don't see the physicalness of something actually tangible happening because of how we're using it. That's a miracle. When the very root, and this is not the full root, I'll get to that. The closest root is an object, something that is wonderful. Imagine if we use miracle in the right way. And I'm going to get to that in a moment. Just follow me. So I said there are levels of roots. So in etymology, most people stop at the word that looks like the word they're using, right? So what do I mean by that? Miracle, oh, the root is miraculum. No, that's not where the word came from. That's only a couple thousand years old. Latin is only a couple thousand years old. It comes from another word. Which literally, I think it's smiro, which literally means to smile. What? I know you didn't know this because we're not taught our own language. So the word miracle, as we know it, really means to smile. What did I tell y'all in the beginning? Tears of a clown. Many of you have that shallow smile. You're smiling with your mouth and your eyes are saying something else. The smile is, there are two smiles. I think about my daughter because she has her true smile and she has her picture smile. Her picture smile is hilarious because you're taking a picture and you say smile, she shows all of her teeth like most kids do. And it looks like someone is pulling the sides of their mouth like they're in pain. Smile. The very idea of telling a child to smile is weird. It's saying, in this moment, do something fake. Versus when a child is happy, I give you an example, my daughter, when she's happy and she smiles, the size of her mouth go upwards. And you just see her top teeth. And her eyes get all squinty, they're closed, they're almost closed. But when I say smile for the picture, the sides of her mouth, the corners they're going horizontally, and her eyes are open. And it's terrible. Many of you are doing that tears of the clown smile. Many of you have heard that eyes are the windows to the soul. And like I said in the beginning, I see all these eyes that have this shallowness in them. I'm smiling, Professor. I'm doing my work. I'm being positive. I'm yes. Something's missing. Something's missing. And what I realized, what is missing is the understanding. So I told you back in March, look for the miracles. And I gave examples on how to look for them. And what I realized is many of you did not have a true understanding of what it was. And that's on me. And now I'm going to give you the understanding. Miracle is not something that is impossible. It is not something out of the ordinary. It is something that is physical. It is, as its word said, an object of wonder. And it is, as its root, its true root, something to smile, a general smile. I had a live event earlier this year, and as I stood on the stage, I broke down and explained to everyone how impossible it was that they were sitting there. Mathematically impossible for them to be sitting there. What do I mean? The mere fact that they were there, there's not a number that would make sense to any of us to describe. I used the number 480 trillion. And I said that you being alive in here today, 1 in 480 trillion, it wouldn't happen again. That's how much of a miracle you are. And that number was wrong. The number is incomprehensible. You take that number and multiply it by 1 million, and that's the real number. Which means that your very existence is a miracle. But listen, let's take the word miracle out of fantasy woo land and let's make it an object of wonder. You are an object of wonder. When I say that you're a miracle, I say that you are an object of wonder, which means that There is never, ever going to be another you. And that's another conversation, because it shows how important you are. How much is invested into you. What do I mean by that? It says how important you are in this world, but how important you are on the spiritual realm for you to make it down here. Because many don't come down here. Many touch this space and go back. But you're actually here. Miracle, but you're physical. The title again is, Why Have You Stopped Looking for Miracles? And I truly believe it's because you don't understand what a miracle is. Because you don't even see the first miracle, physical miracle, being you. I'm breathing. You're breathing. Did you tell your brains to tell your lungs to take a breath? No, but you're breathing. That's a freaking miracle. In your hands or next to you, you have a device that can hear me all the way where I am, all the way to where you are. That's a miracle. It's an object of wonder. Your phone is an object of wonder. That should make you smile. It makes me smile. Because I remember there was a time before we had these phones. And if I wanted to speak to you, I had to write a letter. Unless you're outside, you're inside of some sort of shelter. It can be a car. It can be your house. It's an object. It's physical. Do you think about your house? How many pieces of wood or how many bricks, cement bricks, did it take for you to be in this room? What was the engineering behind that? How does it rain and I don't get wet? That's a miracle. It's an object of wonder. Do you wonder about these things? If you're in a car, you're in a car. Who made this? Who built it this way? How is it that it can rain and I not get wet at all? But there's a sunroof. Or clearly it's not one complete thing. How is this window sealed with the roof? Miracle, object of wonder. When you start to think about these objects of wonder or these miracles, it causes you to smile. Because it's crazy. Like, what? I want you to start there. In my teachings, I tell my students, we're going to start at the basic. I'm going to teach you the foundation, because you will never get to those places you want to be without understanding the foundational stuff. You want the big miracles and you don't even see the small ones that are around. There are so many, I don't want to say religious, let's just say philosophies and that speak to this, but it's not clear. And I believe it's not clear. Well, there's many reasons why it's not clear. We're not going to go there. But I want to make it clear for you today as much as possible. The topic again, why have you stopped looking for miracles? Maybe you forgot the message back in March. Maybe you didn't study enough to have that really within you. Maybe you didn't understand what miracle was in the first place. Maybe you thought you knew what it was. We have so many things around us and we take it for granted. We take it for granted. You know who doesn't? Children. Children see miracles in everything. In everything. They see, look at a baby that takes hold of something for the first time and they get excited and they're looking at it and they'll lick it because that's how we learn texture. And they see the wonder in it and they smile and they laugh over some of the most basic things. And yet we move throughout our days taking things for granted, not seeing the miracles, not only in ourselves, but in the things around us and in the people around us. If you are married, if you're in a relationship and you have children, take a moment and look at this. Friends, how did I meet this person? It's a miracle. I just wrapped up a numerology class and one of the students was saying how everyone in her family, how their numerology matched up. And she's like, how? It was mind-blowing. She was so excited. Miracle. Miracles are not things that are impossible. They're actually things that are possible. They are physical. They are. When I told you in March to look for them, I'm not saying make stuff up that's not possibly going to happen. I'm saying look for them around you because they're all around you, y'all. You just don't see. Let me give an example. Last week, I had to have some work done on my car. And so I went to Enterprise. It was across the street from the mechanic shop. And they didn't have any cars. Now, I'm in a city that's not my own city, so I don't know, the other rental places. So I Googled Hertz and Avis. There was an Avis like 10 miles down the road, and they had a car. And I was just like, this is just the most. And so I said, I'm not doing all that. Something has to give. And so I told the woman at Avis, I may be there in 10 minutes. And I put my phone down. Mind you, I'm in the Enterprise lobby. Took a deep breath. And the gentleman behind the counter said, Miss, did you find a car yet? And I said, no. He said, well, we have a sister store in another city 20 minutes away. Let me call them. He called them and they said they had a car. I said, great. He said, would you like me to drive you there? I said, yes. He drove me to this other Enterprise. And the whole way there, I'm excited because I'm like, this is wild, but like, this is how it works. This is spirit. Like, this is me on my path. This is abundance. This is provision. This is like doors opening. Miracle. So I go to the counter and I go to this one guy and he says, so there's me and this older white gentleman. We walk into the Enterprise together. He's also from the other location. And so we were in the car with the other Enterprise driver. We were talking. So we walk in together. And so the gentleman, the older white gentleman, walks over to this young, one of the people behind the desk, So he assumes that we're together. And so I said, no, I'm not with him. So he says, okay, his name is Devante, can help you. So I go over to this young guy named Devante. And so Devante's taking my information and he sees my license and he says, Virginia Beach. I said, yeah. He said, I was born there. And I said, really? I always say divine timing is perfect timing. And he says, yeah, but I moved to, Atlanta when I was young. And I said, well, where did you live? And so he told me where. And I said, I know that area. I'm very familiar with that area. And then he proceeds to tell me that his mother, I forgot the exact conversation, went to a certain school and she went to Atlanta to finish her degree. And I said, well, what school? And he told me, and I said, I used to teach at that university. And I said, what year was this? But we missed it by a couple of years, okay? So now we having this conversation, and he's like, wow, I never met anyone that's from, where I live. And we're sharing things about, Virginia Beach, etc. And so I just needed a car for a few hours. That's what I initially thought. My mechanic said my car would be fixed in a few hours. So I said, I'm going to return the car at 5 o'clock. I just need a car just so I'm not hanging around in the mechanic shop all day. So I paid for a car. He leans over the counter and he says, would you like a Jeep? And I was like, okay. Follow me. And I'm like, why is he whispering it like that? It's okay. So I'm thinking, what do you call, like the Jeep, what do you call it, Liberty, or like a SUV, not SUV, like a van type of a Jeep. And so we go outside and he takes me to this car. Now, car dealerships have like compact, mid-size, SUV. Then they have premium. So he takes me to a Jeep Wrangler Rubicon and huge giant wheels. And I was like, it's a Wrangler. And he said, have you ever driven one before? And I was like, no, but I want to try. So I said, and this is not extra? He was like, no. So he tells me some things about the car, and I signed the papers, and I'm in the car like, what? This is dope. Like, this car is dope. I've never seen one before. So I'm just excited. And so I'm driving, and as I'm driving, I see another one. I was like, oh, wow, there's another Wrangler. So I felt prompted just to go back home, drive 2 hours back home. And I said, I'll come back later on and pick up my car. On my way driving home, the mechanic called me and said, it's going to be another day. You need new tires, blah, blah, blah. I said, fine, I'm already on my way home. As I'm driving, I'm seeing all these people with Wranglers. I've never seen so many of these cars before. There's one that pulled up to me, same colors, black and red. I'm driving and I'm getting there's like special hand waves that people, I'm like, why is everyone waving at me? And I'm telling my daughter, and she says, Mommy, it's a thing. There's like a whole community with people with Jeep Wranglers. So I'm excited, waving at all these people. I'm like, everyone has a Jeep Wrangler. Everyone has a Jeep Wrangler. I've never seen these cars before. I mean, I've seen them, but not like this. And so over the next 48 hours, I'm like counting all the Jeep Wranglers that I'm seeing. When I tell you I've never seen so many in my life, I'm like, does everyone have one? I want one. Let me bring it back to the point of all of this. I was looking for miracle. Because I'm looking for it, I'm seeing things. My eye is on this Jeep Wrangler. Because now my eye is open to the Jeep Wrangler, I'm seeing all of them around me. They already existed, y'all. It wasn't like a whole bunch of people just bought these cars in the last 24 hours. They already had them. I just didn't see them because I wasn't looking for them. Do you understand? I saw one of my neighbors had one. I'm seeing these people with them. One pulled right up next to me, the same exact one. Because my vision, my inner vision was fixed on this Jeep Wrangler, I may have seen like 50 in less than 48 hours. Listen. Why have you stopped looking for miracles? Number one, maybe you didn't understand what miracles really were. Or number two, you forgot. It is not uncommon. I think I hear it at least several times a year for the past 10 years. Where people say, you're not looking at things in this reality, Melanie, or you're not, being realistic. And at first it bothered me. And now I'm like, yes, you see it? Good. Good. I'm not looking at things with your eyes. You're looking at all the things that are negative, that are low vibrational, that you're told to look at because the news and the media says to pay attention to this. I told y'all about the distractions. I don't care about none of them. And because of that, I get to exist in this world that seems miraculous to people. Because I look for the miracle, y'all. I look for the miracle. When you set your eyes on the miracle, which is the actual physical thing, what starts to happen is that you open up pathways to get there. I told you about the mechanic shop it's really an hour and a half away from me. So I have a specialty vehicle, and it needs, you get like oil change and everything only once a year, which is, I love that. And so the auto, what do you call it, mechanic, the dealership, that's in my city closed down. The nearest one is 4 hours away in DC. I called them, and what they quoted me was, what? Like $5,000. And I may have to stay overnight, which means hotel, etc., on top of the fact that it's like a 5-hour drive. And there was such resistance. Literally the day that I was going to drive up there was such resistance. And I said, no, this is not closed doors. This is a no. My whole body was saying, don't go. I said, there has to be something else. I know there is. I looked for the miracle. I opened up my phone. Someone sent me a video. Like a video. Some people send you like Instagram videos or whatever, but it went to Facebook. I'm not on Facebook a lot, so I couldn't open it on my phone. I had to like log into Facebook, this whole thing. And what popped up was a car club. Miracle. I go in the car club and I said, hi, I'm new here. I need to get my car serviced, and I'm telling the whole story. And someone immediately says, hey, go here. Miracle. I'm expecting this. I'm expecting this. So that's how I ended up in this place where they charged way less for more work to be done. Miracles. In every aspect of life, y'all, you have to look for the miracle, which means you're looking for something tangible, but you have to be open to the pathway. How do we know what path to follow? The promptings. Those things that are easy to navigate. The promptings are like easy navigation tools to get you to where you need to get to. So many of you have stopped looking for miracles because you really don't understand what to look for, how to look for it, how to get to it. And I'm telling you, it's so easy. What makes you smile? Remember, the root of miracle. The first root is Latin, miraculum. But then we have a true root, smiro, which means to smile. Do the thing that makes you smile. I wanted to, my daughter, my oldest daughter, she's born in October. She loves fall. And she wanted to go to a log cabin in the mountains, like in the Virginia, Shenandoah Valley Mountains, you know, those mountains, see all the colors. And I was looking for something and I wanted to take her. But the weekend that I was going to take her, she was traveling. And so I just felt like she just needs to see these mountains. She just needs to see these colors. It's going to ignite something within her. And last week, she was driving back from New York. And she said, "Mommy, there's so much traffic on 95. It's taking me west." And I said, "Okay, you know, I'll check on you, whatever." And then about 2 hours later, I called her and I said, "Listen, what are you doing?" She says, "I'm driving." I said, "But you're listening to music." She said, "Yeah." I said, "Turn it off." Because I received a message from Spirit to give her directly. And I'm not going to get into that. But I said, I need you to tap in. I need you to tap in. You're driving. You're going to be in the alpha state. So you're going to be safe, but you're going to go into a place where you get to manifest whatever. And I said, she says, "Mommy, you wouldn't believe where I am right now." I said, "Where?" She's like, "I'm in the mountains somewhere. Like I'm close to the, like, Appalachia, essentially." It took her all the way west. And she said, "It's so beautiful. And the trees, they're like red and orange and yellow." And I almost started crying. I got so emotional. And I said, "I saw it. I knew that you needed to be there." Oh, I said, look how Spirit works. Because of something, traffic on 95, and 95 is the highway that runs from north to south on the East Coast. You end up in the mountains anyway. On the weekend, I wanted to take you. And I said, "This is perfect. Now here's what I want you to do." And I told her what to do. And these are the things that happen when you are actively looking for the miracle. She's smiling. And in that smile, I know 100% she's going to manifest that physical thing, that physical miracle. And so I'm saying the same thing to all of you. Start back looking again. I know you stopped because you're like, I didn't see it. Professor, you were talking about in March, look for the miracles and abundance. And yeah, right. That has not been it for me. And I'm saying, yes, it has. A lot of you went through abundance and healing. Abundance and growth in your spiritual self. You just didn't look at it like that. Now I'm telling you to look for the miracles, because they are physical. How do we get there? What is it that makes you smile, that makes you feel good? That is the pathway to it. Well, I need a house. I need an apartment to live in. Okay, let's start there. For all of you who need a place to live, who need an apartment or a house, this is what we're going to do. I want you to take a moment and I want you to think of that apartment or that house that would make you smile. What does it have? It can be something basic. What does it have? Maybe you want granite countertops because right now you have those plastic ones. Maybe you want an extra room that can be an office because your office is in your living room and you got kids running around. Maybe you want a backyard with trees. What is it that makes you smile? Maybe you want a window that has a view. When I tell you that you can actually create it, it may not exist, but it will exist for you, that's a miracle. Every place I've lived is a miracle, and people are in wonder because I say this is exactly what I'm going to get at this exact price. And even though I've been told that doesn't exist, I live in it because I 100% expect it. I imagine that home, I imagine that place, and I'm smiling. Feel good about it. And I know it's going to take place because miracles are real. How do I know that? Because I'm a freaking miracle. There's hair growing out of my hair, and I don't have to tell my hair, okay, this month we're going to do a 0.5 centimeter, 1 centimeter. It just automatically happens. Wow. Oh my goodness. What? We think miracles. Let me give you an example. If someone is paralyzed, yeah, and every day they practice walking, they go to physical therapy and they practice walking, and next year you see them and they're walking, we're like, oh, it's a miracle. They're walking. But every morning, you get out of bed, you stand up, you walk to the bathroom. That's not a miracle. Why do we celebrate one and not the other? There are people that, I had someone close to me that they stood up one morning and they fell over. They injured their back without realizing they injured it, and their legs collapsed. But you get up. You don't have to tell your brain to tell your feet to flex a certain way or tell your calf muscles or your thigh. You don't have to tell your brain to tell none of that to work. You just do it. But you don't see that as miracle. Man, think about that. I'm smiling just thinking about it. Like, that's crazy. When you start to see the miracles around you, more miracles will come, y'all. Start to see everything as a miracle, and more miracles will come. Miracles are not impossible. They are possible. They are impossible possibles. Things that are like, how did this happen? But it's happening. So I'm sharing this with you today because, again, I sensed energetically that many of you were off. And again, this message isn't for everyone, but I felt a significant amount of people in the soul family going through this, dealing with this. And I want to not encourage you. It's not about encouraging you. You're already courageous. I don't have to give you courage. You're here. You made it. You're already courageous. You just don't see the miracle of you being courageous. But man, so many of you, number one, shouldn't have been born or still be alive. That takes courage to keep going. I just want to remind you of who you are. Remind you of how powerful you are. Remind you of how special you are. Remind you of how loved you are. Remind you of how guided you are. Remind you of the miracle that you are. And I want you, starting today, restart it. We can restart as many times as we need to. On this new moon, restart today looking for the miracles, whatever it is. And if you don't feel good about it, if it doesn't make you smile, that's not going to happen. So make sure that you're smiling about whatever that is. The internal smile, right? Not the forced, say cheese smile. Not that forced smile, but that real genuine, that genuine smile. You laugh. There's an ugly cry and there's an ugly laugh. Stop being in this reality and being so realistic. I wear that as a badge of honor. Every time someone says, Melanie, you're not being realistic. Thank you. That means I'm doing my damn job. Let me show you how this miracle thing works. I love you so, family. Stay empowered. Continue on this beautiful path. Continue doing your work. Continue helping others, guiding them, teaching them, even loving them. And above all, know that you are always guided, you are always protected, and you are always loved. And I love you so, family. Peace.